So this is where I had planted back in April all my Snapdragon plants. I think that day I had put like 600 in, and then later, a couple weeks later, I'd put in another 200 to 400. I can't remember. Yeah, you can put a lot of snaps in a small area, but there's very few left in here. The cutworm kind of moved across. They didn't touch the sunflowers, but they really liked the snapdragons after about 3 weeks of them in here. So super disappointing. I'm going to have a little hole in my market sales because snaps kind of fill in the post peony before the zinnias really hit. So I don't know, hopefully some other things bloom and I can magically still fill my booth at market. But the ground's really wet. We got a lot of rain on the weekend, and I thought, let the chickens in here instead of looking at this, let them do their thing, and then I can cover it up and kill this grass weed that's really, must have been a lot of weed seed in here from last year or the year before. But the chickens are loving it. They're really, I hope they find every single cutworm that is in this soil. Yeah, and because it was so wet, I had to get Bob out here before he had to leave for work to see. I needed help to push the chicken tractor along. We've been leaving it for like I think it was there for 4 days, and they really make a mess underneath there, which is fine. That's what the chickens are supposed to do, but I really don't want to kill all my grass paths there. So we push that over. In a couple days, we'll just push it. I'm planning on just pushing it along the row and let the chickens do their thing in these beds. Yeah, so look at this. I have sunflowers in like the second week of June. I don't think I've ever tried to have sunflowers this early or have had success. This is a white variety. Actually, I think it's 2 different white varieties, one with a dark center and one with a light center. They're a little bit shorter time from seed to bloom than the traditional kind I usually grow. I have some, the next batch I think might have some of the traditional orange sunflowers, but I thought for like early summer, people might prefer the white as opposed to the more fall orangey looking kinds. Yeah, so they're starting. They kind of look a little bit funny at this time of the year. I think because of the day length and their lack of heat, they tend to grow more out instead of more of a flat, more beautiful traditional look. But they're still really cute in bouquets. I'll totally use them, especially since I don't have snapdragons and straw flower right now. I will take these over the next month. So yeah, sunflowers. I don't know what this weather is today. It's like, I don't even know what temperature is. I had to go put another shirt on because I was so cold. And it's been cloudy all day, and we had quite a bit of rain, so it's incredibly wet and muddy out here. But it's kind of a gift because I am really behind in planting, and I should have, well, I should, the Lisianthus, this is an example of don't do what Jen does, but the Lisianthus really should have been planted in like April, maybe the beginning of May, and here it is in the beginning of June, and I'm still planting. So I'm actually really thankful for the cooler weather, because they don't do well when it's really hot, and then they're so tiny and they're trying to get established. So at least I feel like they have a one day of cooler weather, and I think the week is supposed to be somewhat cooler, and so hopefully they can root in before we start getting really warm temperatures again. But yeah, a couple new rows of Lizzies. I still actually have some more trays. I'm just not sure where they're gonna go right now. So I'll just be happy that these are in the ground, and we'll figure that out another time. This was one of my big oops. It's like cover crop I seeded last fall. I'm thinking that a good portion of it was gonna die down, but it didn't. I did tarp the front, so I can plant dahlias in the front this week. I'm gonna now attempt to mow this, and I might plug my mower, and then either tarp it or maybe just plant right into it. Most of it is cover crop, and I think once it's mowed, I think you could crimp it or roll it, and that would kill it down too, but I don't really want to deal with all the stems. So I'm going to try and mow it. I think the peas might clog up my mower. They're very watery, juicy type of plant. But wish me luck, because I really need to fill this with dahlias. This is not supposed to be in cover crop anymore. It is a nice cover crop. Oats, triticale, peas. It had crimson clover, and radish. The radish did die. The radish is gone, but everything else is still here. It looks good if I didn't want to plant into it. Okay, I was a little bit worried, because the first row, my first pass, I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna take me forever. Maybe I should go find a weed whacker or a hedge trimmer. I wasn't sure. The peas, it really was the peas that got tangled in my mower wheel. And then the front row, I realized after that I never did mow that first row. I think I only mowed like a half of it, but there's some of it that hadn't been mowed all spring, and the peas were like huge. What a pain. These rows actually ended up going not too bad. I can handle this, but I had mowed this. I think I mowed it twice early on, because my plan was to keep it really short. And then that's when I forgot about it, and it got bigger than I want. But it's down. Now I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I'll do the dahlias in the front part, and then I got to figure out what I'm going to do with this. And I left a little bit because I forgot my pruners, and I do want to use a little bit for my market bouquets this week. I left some oats and some triticale. Triticale is really pretty, so I'm going to throw that in my bouquets. Yeah, okay. So another week done. It was kind of an interesting week, because we started the week, it was quite wet and cool, which was great. It was so awesome for weeding. I did a ton of weeding in my perennials and some Lizzies, and then I was like, oh, I need help. So I called in a friend, and she sent her daughter over. So we attacked more weeds while it was still wet. Zinnias, Lisianthus. I'm feeling a bit better when I walk around. That stuff doesn't seem too out of control, because we're entering a little bit of a heat wave next week, and then things, I feel like, with the moisture and the temperatures, are just going to skyrocket. Mainly the weeds will go crazy. So it's nice to have some of that done. And then we also dug the next Dahlia rows. I thought I better get that done before it gets too hot. And then today, hopefully, Bob's going to bring me more compost, and we're going to get those rows prepped so I can pop the dahlias in there. Yeah, and we did another market. It was a great market. I was thinking it was going to be kind of iffy weather based on the forecast and how it felt in the morning. So I didn't bring enough. So we sold out, which is awesome. It's great to sell out, but I also feel bad. I could have brought more. I have more peonies in my cooler, but it's a little bit of a gamble to bring them to market because if you don't sell them, then they become compost. I can't store them anymore. But if I leave them tight in my cooler, I can still sell them over the next week or two to designers for orders. I can bring them to market. And they're such an expensive crop. I really want to get full money for them. So I misjudged. I didn't bring enough. So I feel bad for those people that came and there was no flowers left. Yeah, it's just a weird time. I'm a little bit sad to see peony season winding down, and I'm a little bit, I kind of want to hold on to that time, but then I also want time to speed up because I need the next crops to really start. I need them to grow so I have enough flowers. This is a time of year where I'm always worried, do I have flowers for the following week? And most of the time it works out. Like next week, I do know the Feverfew is coming on. It is so beautiful. Everyone loves it. Designers, market customers, I love it. So I have a great crop this year, so there should be enough for everybody. There's Veronica here. The sunflowers had started this week. And I'm really waiting on the zinnias. They're just putting up their first bloom, which is awesome. And the heat next week should push them along. I usually would have lilies next, but I don't know. I think that last frost we had late in the season was at the wrong stage for them and they are no more. So I don't love lilies anyway, so I'm not super sad about it, but it is something to put in your booth to make it at least look like you're a flower farmer during this weird time between peonies and the summer annuals. But that's okay. We'll be happy with the Feverfew coming on because it's awesome. Yeah, so thanks again for hanging out with me this week, and we'll hope to see you next time.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. All the good times just begun.